Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me today. If this is your first time of joining us, I would like you to subscribe to the channel, and also I would like you to hit like right now, and possibly I want you to comment on this video. Now, I'm talking about the Essence Festival. We all know what has been going on. It's a symbol of who we are. It's a symbol of our culture. It's a symbol of culture and a struggle that we should continue to try to maintain. It's necessary for us to maintain our dignity, our culture, our way of life, our who we are, because it says who we are, and that's why it's very important for us to be able to do that. But lately, some things has happened, and some things happened, and it seems like it brings a lot of conversation. It brings a lot of opinion. African, he become the CEO of this great organization that has been in 1995. I believe the festival started in 1995, but Essence Festival, like Essence, magazine, has since 1970 or 71. So this African guy or this African kind of become the CEO. Maybe he bought the company, or he has his bigger share in the company, or whatever. But he has a bigger say in the company, and is trying to introduce something new which come across to the Black American community differently, because they believe that the African is trying to inject his own culture, which if you kind of understand or kind of go through what the struggle of Black Americans, the struggle of African Americans, you can kind of understand the reason why Black American has to maintain their dignity, has to maintain their culture, has to maintain their way of life. Like the food, like the music, the dressing. Just what they embodies. They have to. It's a cultural overlaps. We all have to pay attention to ourselves by learning to know this culture. If you're an African, you don't understand the struggle of Black Americans. You don't understand the fight, the daily struggle of African Americans. You can see things in the surface, but the more you see, you think you see, is more than what you saw. So I'm saying this to say, when we think we are doing something, try to learn about what you are doing. So one of the complaint is that the CEO, the owner, or whoever in charge, this African person, is trying to change things around, and these things are things that are sensitive to Black Americans, because that is who they are. That's who what that's what how they express themselves is through the culture, through the food. So when there is a battle for Jambalaya versus Jollof rice, it's touchy. We have to understand the culture of where we are. We cannot step on things. So when we say jollof rice, which belongs to West Africa, versus Jambalaya, of which is African American soul food. Food is your culture, your way of dressing, your music. You can't change that. You can't change it. Once you change that, you are stepping on people's toe. I am an African, and I see myself as African American. Why? I was born in Africa, but I've been here way more than half of my life. Way more than half my life. I understand the culture at least at to higher degree. My wife, she's African American, and we've been together for 29 years and married for 23 years. So I learned through that, and I understand the struggle of African American. I understand the culture and why they feel the way they feel. until we bridge the gap, until we get closer to learn each other's culture, there's possibility that we might be misinterpreting ourselves. I watched one video and it was just too harsh, because that is the way the person saw it. Things that African American, Black American has been doing for over, 50 years. And this African guy just came one time and tried to change the food, tried to change the music. Let me say this, like when it comes to buy Jambalaya versus Jollof rice, it's something that brings unity in West Africa. It's an healthy competition between West African countries. They actually have, competition about that between Nigeria and Ghana and between Senegal and all these West African countries. They actually holds competition jollof rice, who has the jollof rice. So I'm thinking possibly that the guy probably trying to introduce the same cultural thing that bring friendship and unity among African states into Essence Festival, but it came across wrongly. So I'm just saying, okay, let me just show this for a minute. Let me show this for a minute. I'm just bringing maybe the possibility, and also for us to kind of tense down the negativity opinion, just to kind of at least kind of try to balance it a little bit. If we look at, let me just share this with us. If we look at, if you go on Google, if you just go on Google and just point in jollof rice competition in African countries, just jollof rice competition in African countries, you see what it brings out. Like I've said earlier, it's kind of a friendly competition among West African states to use to compete in food, and sometimes in even in cultural events and stuff like that. But mostly about this jollof rice and this. So when Jambalaya and versus jollof rice might be introduced as one of the event there, that might be it. Let's just look at this. It says jollof rice competition, often dubbed jollof wars. A culinary event where different West African countries compete to determine who makes the best version of this popular dish. These competitions are fueled by the friendly rivalry between countries like Nigeria and Ghana, and they often involves chefs representing various nations such as Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, Sierra Leone, Liberia. So it's a common thing, but it's to promote, it's to for friendship, way for us doing stuff like that. So I'm just thinking maybe that might be, but at the same time, we cannot count it out for people to feel the same way that they feel right now. For them to think, or for them to say, hey, no, slow down. What this is what defines me. This is what defines. This is my culture. They don't want somebody else, to come in and change it. This is one of the reasons why this channel, seems to be, we bring it up for us to because usually it seems like our relationship is kind of far apart. So if you look at this, let me just go back on this again. Competitions in Africa, Ghana, Nigeria. Then they said who makes the best jollof rice and jollof rice competition in Africa. Look at this. They have this decided at the seventh annual Jollof Festival in Even in Washington D.C. They bring it up to talk to the Washington D.C. The rivalry of the Jollof rice. Ghana sibling rivalry is the Jollof rice war, which is heated debates about which country makes the best jollof rice. But I kind of understand and I get it. And I think it is time for us to kind of change it. I hope the festival is changed back to what it was. And again, if they want to introduce anything, it's got to be gradual and it's got to be accepted. The Essence Festival has left to be just a festival. It's a symbolized a group. It's symbolized a way of life of people, of Black American, of African American. So it's just something, for us to take note of that and make sure that we kept doing this. I have been to Essence Festival myself, and it's a very fun place. It's very lovely. This is I think it was in 2018, and that's me, right here. And it's expression of history. It's achievement. It's the expression of food, different food, a lot of soul food, man, a lot of restaurant and a lot of food. Nobody should let it go. We should hold on to it, protect it, because it has defined, who we are as people, as Black Americans, as African American, because kind of define us and define our culture. In reality, we have to be respectful of one another. We have to take something that is sensitive and treat it as very very sensitive, as it is, because your culture, your way of life, your music, your way of dressing, your food, soul food, everything that embodies you in your culture. Essence Festival has become, it's not just a festival, it's a festival that unites, that celebrate a culture, and that celebrates and define, expression of what who African American is, who Black Americans are, something that they cherish, the struggle they share it together, the way of life, the breakthrough together, everything that embodies African American. So you cannot be insensitive to those things, because they have worked really hard to get to where African Americans are now. And for somebody to come in and kind of want to change things like that, is you will fight back too. So there's nothing wrong with the opinion of people, because they have to. Because if you don't, if you keep quiet about changes of your culture, before you know it, you will lose your culture, and other people or other culture will dominate your culture. So you have to fight back, to defend your culture, to defend who you are, to defend your dignity. So it's normal, and that's one of the problem that even African has. That the culture of Africans has been taken away for Africa for a larger part. It was taken away, and languages was inserted in there, religion was inserted in there, and way of dressing was inserted in there. The food was inserted in there, and all those things that embody you, that define you, to define who you are, was gradually taken away from Africa. So for somebody to stand up and defend their own culture, and defend their own belief, and defend what defines them, there's nothing wrong with it. I really really give it to people for coming out and expressing their mind. So in my conclusion is just to say, please, join me on this channel. The foundation of this channel is to bring the bridge. It is to connect the bridges that seems has been separated for a long time, for us to get to know each other. If we close enough together, we will understand even more of understand each other, even the more. Our relationship seems to be very far apart. You are over there, I'm over here. Hey, hi, we wait at each other. That's our relationship. But if we get closer together and get to know one another, that just like what I just brought out right now about, it's a competition about African, West African countries, rivaling about food and stuff like that. But if you know that, then you might not be sensitive taking it like that. You have to let people control their culture, define themselves, express themselves. You cannot give your culture, or give your right, or let other people define you. You have to define yourself, and you have to protect yourself against someone that you think might be inserting something that is not part of you. It's not. So I want us all, to kind of, get closer, get closer. Every one of us has blood that runs in our vein. Every one of us, when we get pinched, we feel pain. So now, don't let that our differences, don't let it separate us. The differences is culture, your struggle, your way of life, what you bring through in life. It define you and develop into your culture. It develop to who you are. It develop to what you become. That is your culture. That is your culture. But for the viewers, for the African viewers, for the Caribbean will understand more, but mostly the African viewer to say, hey, that we have sisters, we have brothers, we have cousins, parents, and we have people that we share things in common. I know we share things in common. One day, that hopefully the people will unite together. We will unite together. Don't let anything separate us. Whatever we think that we separate, that the difference is, we are only a product of our environment. You are a product of environment. You know what you know what is around you, and that's all you know. What is around you, and because it's always around you, it becomes part and parcel of you. It becomes who you are. It becomes your culture, your struggle, your daily struggle, your parents' struggle, your financial struggle. Everything that happens, that goes around you, it becomes who you are. It depends, it becomes your culture. It defines you. And that's all you know. Your food, your way of dressing, the music that you listen to, the language and the slang that you speak, it define you. It became part of the dance that you dance. You go to African American party, you go to Black American party. Now, when I'm using African American and Black American, it's still the same thing. I just using two name. It's the same people. There's no different in it. It's African American, also the Black Americans. And one thing that also is to say, when African, most African comes here, they don't know anything about African American. I don't. No, they didn't teach us. It's not in our curriculum. It's not in our school, syllabus or curriculum in school to tell us about, transatlantic slave. We do not know. I got here and I start seeing all these black people and I kept wondering, who are these people? Why are there so many black people here? Then I start paying attention. I start listening. Sometimes I go to the south, South Georgia. Sometimes we you go in the countryside and you see this tree that seems to be like 500 years old trees, and sometimes you feel like, man, I wish this tree can just speak to me and tell me what he has saw or what she has seen in the past. This struggle is remain. So I'm talking to us as people to leave the differences aside and for us to come together to promote one another, to understand that we all share the same culture. We all share the same belief. Because like when I say we share the same culture, I meant that the originality of us is the same. Believe me, I see it. I've seen it. And I've experienced it. I've seen it, yo. Everyone, I have seen it. Join me on this channel as we go, as we empower ourselves to take ourselves into the next level, for us to have that unity. Together we are strong. And we also have to remember that nobody knows it all, but we all seems to know it all. This is opportunity for us to empower ourselves, to create that unity, and for us to get to the next level. Like I've said earlier, if this is your first time of joining us, I would like you to subscribe to this channel. I would like you to comment. I would like you to share this video, and I would like you to just get closer. Thank you and have a wonderful day.